Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest with me today. This guy is going to absolutely rock your socks off, my friends. He is not only a stunning and brilliant artist, okay? He's not only fabulous at what he does, but he's also an amazing entrepreneur. He's built an incredible group. He's brilliant at building a community and bringing people together around a culture. And what makes him very special, and probably the most important reason why you should be watching him today, is that he's from my hometown of Abbotsford, BC. Welcome to the show, my good friend, Mr. Amos Bracewell. How are you, sir?
Michael, I am good. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Where are you? I am in the middle of Disneyland, enjoying being on your show.
Yeah, well, welcome, buddy. Welcome. So we're super excited to have you here because you have been doing some amazing stuff when it comes to the Empower TV network. So share with our audience just a little bit here, Mr. Bracewell, about what the Empower TV network is all about.
Well, it helps connect people with the people they need to connect with. So I believe, Michael, that what's standing in people's way from rising fully to become the best version is only a couple key connections, a couple key thoughts, and a couple key ways of being financed in life. I think if people have the ideas, the resources, and the people they need to connect with, their life's just going to take off. And I don't think it's that big of a jump or a leap. I think it's actually a relatively small step to have all of those click into place because a lot of people are wandering around in obscurity and their life doesn't make sense. But it's not that it doesn't make sense, it's that the last few key things haven't fallen into place. So Empower Network TV exists to help catapult people forward
Right.
so that they can just go on to manifest the thing they're on the planet for.
Oh, I love it, buddy. I love it. So it's like the idea that you're just that one open door away, right? That one open door away from living this incredible version of your life. Is that kind of what the basis of this is all about?
I sure hope so, Michael, because that's what I built the whole thing upon. So I sure hope that's true,
That
brother.
better be the case. That better be the case. Perfect. I am linking you to the live here as well, buddy. Um, in my Facebook.
I've already shared it. It's on mine too right now.
Oh, perfect. Okay, fabulous. So Amos, like,
I love your blue marketing. I love what you got going on. What are we on at EveMux? Because this is way better than Zoom.
you like EVMux? Yeah, it's a pretty cool software. I kind of found it by accident when I was looking for streaming software, and so this is what I stumbled into. It's got some tricks up its sleeve here for you. So before we get too crazy, there's some pretty good stuff we can do, right? Yeah, so we're gonna have lots of fun. Um, Now, I wanted to ask you because the idea is an incredible one. So, what brought you to this? And because I have a follow up question to this that I think is probably even more important, but what inspired you to this? Because it's a really valuable resource you're putting together. The community is amazing. I've been in there for a little while now. It's an awesome community. But beyond that, what inspired you to do this? Like, what was the real sort of spark that lit this fire for you?
Desperation in my own life to make my own life make sense.
Okay.
Multiple companies, either not working or partially not working, coming to the end of myself, feeling like I've been wandering in obscurity, picking up skill sets that don't seem to add up to a complete jigsaw puzzle, wondering when the hell is my life going to start to, right? Because I tried so many things. I tried being a coach, uh, number of different startups, and everything gave me assets that I could put in my tool belt, but none of them fully clicked. And it wasn't until I got this idea a year ago, this last summer, and it was given to me. I was on a phone call with a buddy, and it was one of those divine moments where you feel like something drops in your heart or in your
It's one
head
of these.
from
It's one of these.
yes,
Right?
yes. It's like how appropriate about Disneyland. This is like the
Yeah,
base of
yeah.
Disneyland. So yeah, that's where I got the idea from. I was on the phone call with a buddy, and I got the idea dropped in my head or heart, and I was like, "There's something here."
Mhm.
And it took me 4 or 5 months to gather up the courage to follow it. So I was like, "How am I going to make this happen?" All those
Yep.
questions the average person like me struggles with. And then I jumped in January 15th, and here we are, and it's kind of taken off. So
I absolutely love that, buddy. And what I love it is it also references the fact that everybody has those questions. Everybody has the how am I going to, like, whether you're Elon Musk or Michael Bridgman or Amos Bracewell, you have those questions, right? It's really the speed at which you can do things in life and accomplish is about how fast you go from wallowing in the how to going, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, right? Like the great John Wooden, he's got this great quote. He says, never let what you can't do get in the way of what you can do. And I think your Empower TV network is just embracing that whole idea. I absolutely love it. So now my follow-up question to that is you had the idea, you sat on it for 6 months, you wrestled with it. What was the thing that pushed you over the edge? What was the one thing that suddenly you were like, okay, this is the kick in the ass I needed, or this is that like fall off the cliff, spread my arms to fly kind of moment? What was it that happened there?
well, I was like, if this is my last year on Earth, I've been living my
Mm,
life that way the last number of years. I go, if this is my last year on Earth, am I happy with what I've done so far?
wow.
And the answer again, this last year was no. I don't know if there are people that are happy with how they've lived their life. If they are, God bless them. I want to be one of them. But I've never been that person that's been satisfied with what I've accomplished thus far. And so when I got the idea and felt like I'm too small, like I don't know how to do
Yeah,
this. I need coaches. I need training to
right.
build a Facebook group. To all I knew at the beginning was I was supposed to start interviewing coaches and speakers and business leaders. I'm like, well, how do you do that? Like, why are they going to want to be interviewed by me? And how do you grow a Facebook community? And how am I going to monetize this? And what the hell is it going to look like? And what if I fail? What if because I feel like I failed a lot of my life. And I didn't fail because I learned things along the way. But I think there are people that understand that feeling like, you go and you get married and then you get divorced. You're like, well, did I fail? Because the
Mhm.
marriage failed. Did I fail? Well, did I learn nothing at all? Well, then yes, I failed. But did I accrue any knowledge? And if I did, then is it a failure? But so it was like if 2023 is going to be what I want it to be, then I got to jump. And if I'm going to jump into something, this is the only thing I feel like I'm supposed to jump into.
Right.
And I jumped. So here we are.
Love it, man. Love it. And because I think what it's indicative of is a lack of it's here, let me put this a different way. It's a perfect version, my friend, of going, I've accomplished things in my life, but I'm not satisfied. Right? I'm happy, right? Like if don't like correct me if I'm wrong, Amos, do you have any kids? I can't remember.
I do.
Yeah,
I have a daughter, one daughter.
yeah, that's right. I thought so. Yeah, one daughter. So, I mean, you've got a daughter, you've got a life, you've done things in your life, but you're not satisfied. And what I think a lot of people get stuck on is that they have to be unhappy, right? They have to be frustrated. Yes, they have to be kind of stuck in a spot to take great big strides, but they still have to be positive and happy. They still have to believe that there's going to be this greater version. And I love that about the story, right? Because you're not satisfied. You've accomplished, but you're not satisfied.
Well, that's why people are at Disneyland. I'm
Yeah.
at Disneyland right now. They're here because they want to reconnect with something from childhood or reconnect to the possibility that there can be more.
Yeah.
That's why we go to fairy tales and fantasy is because they hold the promise of a better tomorrow. If only I can be transported from who I am into a place where I'm the same me, but I've risen up and I'm a
Yeah.
more risen me. The things that need to be crucified in me have been. So I just interviewed somebody the other day. It's like take that shit to the cross so that you can be resurrected
Mm.
as the better version of you. And that's why I built this. And the people that are coming to this, that's who's coming, is people that are like they're done with living a, a less than ideal version of themselves and they want to step forward and they're tired of excuses and delay and blaming and they know they got stuff to learn, but they're congregating to the sound of a resonance that's drawing them. That's like, as Paul would say, it's like the three musketeers, the all for one for all mentality that, listen, we all be so much more than we are. So let's just step into it together as a community and find that place that we all want, that Neverland that exists somewhere where we can be what we dream of being.
And it's an in here place, right? Like we create the Neverland. The Neverland is not outside of us. Like that's what I love about your story here, my friend, is that you were frustrated with where you were at, and so you decided to make your life different. You decided to make your life different by creating a different life, creating this new thing. And so walk us through how is it going?
It's going great. I'm staying in my lane, Michael. I'm not. I tried to be a coach for a bit, and I wasn't a very good coach because I'm not patient enough with people. I don't like walking. I want to run. Everything I do, I want to go fast. I want to go big. I want to go hard, and that does not work as a coach. And so I tried coaching and realized over the 2 years ago, I wrote some books, courses, stuff, and I wanted to. I was not patient enough with people, so I'm staying in my lane. I've always loved sales and marketing. And so I'm doing sales and marketing and I'm helping the coaches and the trainers and the speakers and business owners solve their marketing piece by bringing them an audience. Because that's really, Michael, what these people need is they just need mic stage audience. You cannot throw one of those out. You must have a mic, you must have a stage, and you must have access to an audience. And if you have all three, you can go far if your message is clear, your niche is targeted and pointed, and you have a value proposition that sets you apart. And so that's what's going on in Power Network TV. It's starting to take shape. It's going really good, and there's already some great success stories from people that are throwing themselves into all the playground equipment, as Michelle Bouchard would say. That is being built in Empower Network TV. There's like 4 or 5 different playground equipment things that people can play on and explore and discover.
I love it. I love it. And if people want to join Empower Network TV, I will put up the group right here. So for those who want to check it out, you can check it out here at Empower Network TV in the group section of Facebook. It's an incredible place. You can find out what the playgrounds are that Amos is talking about here. You can find out what playgrounds he's talking about because there is some really powerful, really valuable stuff there, my friend. That is just gonna absolutely blow people away once they get in there. I absolutely love it. Okay, so that's that. Now, this was not, as you said, you've got a few different entrepreneurial journeys on your belt. So you've built multiple different concepts of companies too. So walk us through here a couple of tips or things that can help a person getting started. You already helped us with the idea of having a mic, stage, audience, and then refining your message so it's clear, and then having that unique to you selling proposition. Those are all like, guys, entrepreneurs out there, take those 5 things to the bank, right? You need a way of amplifying your voice, aka the microphone. You need a stage to get on, social media or wherever it's going to be. And you need an audience. You got to cultivate that in places, but then you have to have a message and an offer that's clear. So take those to the bank with you. Now, what else could you offer a starting business owner, right? Somebody who's in their first couple of years here, they're getting things rocking and rolling. What else would you say to them, Amos, that could really help them if they're in front of you today, solve a couple quick problems they're going to probably run into?
Well, number one, there's a lot of people that are trying to sell people on the fact that if they get some perfect polish, that somehow that's going to attract clients. No, no, they didn't.
Mm.
I would tell them just get out there, jump into our free networking events. We have first date networking events that have launched. If you just get and start networking with people and let them hear your story and let them feel your heart, you're going to connect with people. And it's always comes back to, Michael, I believe, the connections we make with
Mm.
others. That it's not about polish, it's not about branding and that stuff. That can come later. It's like just get in the game, get on the field, start running some plays, start catching some balls. And so I would tell people just jump into a, like, if they want, we have free networking events. They can jump in and connect with some people. That's one of the things. And another, well, do you want me to stop there? Do you want me to list more?
No, give us another one. Give us another one. Sure.
Another one for business owners, which we're going to be running free trainings here. I think next month we're starting. Yeah, definitely next month is one of the quickest ways to monetize yourself as a business owner. You do not have to be perfect. It's to grow your own Facebook community, because you need to, as a business owner, you need three things. You have to know how to sell your stuff. You have to have
Yep.
access to new people, which
Yep.
my network will give people for free. And then number three, you have to have your own ecosystem to draw people into, so that once they're in your own ecosystem where you're providing value every week, there's suddenly a warm lead. So when you go to sell them, number one, it's not a cold lead. So we're starting to run some trainings next month for how to grow your own niche-based Facebook community so that you can deliver value to them, build relationships. So when you go to sell it to them, they're warm. So I'm just going to teach them to do what I did, because it took me in 6 months. I'd grown mine from zero, brand new group, to 2,100 people in the
Yeah.
Facebook community.
It's great.
Today we're at 3,400 or something like that, or
I
30.
think it was 34. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's something else. Is gather, once you niche down, start delivering. It's like your own little family, your own little tribe, and start. There's, we'll give trainings on this, but basically start cultivating an ecosystem that is niche based focused, where you're just serving your people. My good friend Mel Cario says, Amos, just serve your ass off. Serve your ass off and leave
Yeah.
people with their mouths hanging open going, dear God, if this is their free content, what is their paid content like?
That's right.
If
It's
this
like
is
it's
how
like
Michael Bridgman.
no, I was gonna say it's like the great Alex Hormozy, right? He says, "Make your free shit so good they're gonna think your paid stuff is absolutely incredible, right? Like that, but that's the truth of it, right? That's the truth of it. Serve your ass off. I just did a show with my friend Gigi. She has a show on Empower or not Empower 360 TV, I think it's called, and with Roku and these types of groups, and we did a whole hour episode on acts of service, like why acts of service and getting outside of yourself is really one of the biggest keys to feeling successful so you can be successful, right? Because to me, I hate the term fake it till you make it. That term bugs me. What I do love is be it till you are it, right? The idea that if you're going to do something really well, Amos, if you're going to serve people in a really big way, well, go out and do it then, because eventually you're going to wake up and go, holy shit, I'm really good at that. Like, it turns out I'm actually really good at that. Like, as you said, get on the field, start throwing the ball. The first three throws you might be terrible, but by day two, you might be, Patrick Mahomes better look out, right?
I got on a sales call today with a lady that wants to buy into our academy, where
Okay.
people buy our packs because they don't have to worry about marketing anymore because we bring them an audience. So she's a coach. But she's like, yeah, I've been jumping on calls with these people that charging me 10, 20 grand. Yeah, they're going to make me super successful. And I'm like, so what's the audience they're giving you? They're like, well, there's no audience, but they're going to make me polished. I'm like, okay, well, you still need to get on the field. You got to get your ass on the field, and you got to get in front of people. If you're in front of people, your pitch will perfect over time. Your value proposition will perfect over time. Your ability to network and connect, all these things will come to you if you just get money and get in the damn game. And so I think that's it's not a popular message, because social media is trying to, I don't know, unfortunately train people like to filter their photos and filter their life. And it's like, to me, that's appalling. It's like, no, 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 show up with your warts and your pimples, but give your fucking heart. Show your heart, and if you show your heart, yeah, you're gonna shit the bed. So what? So is everyone else. But if you're real and vulnerable, you will attract people to. I've seen this. It's like I keep
Oh, yeah.
attracting people that they're beautiful people, Michael, because I'm showing my heart. They're showing their hearts, and I want to do people who show their heart. I'm gonna do business with them because
Yeah.
that's who I vibe with.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Now, granted, I don't need to see any of your warts, Amos. You can keep them to your like. That's okay. Like that's not that kind. That's not this kind of show.
They were on my fingers from hockey when I was a kid. They're all gone now. Thank God they're all gone. I don't even know what I did to get rid of them, but they're gone, Michael. They're gone. I swear. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about resiliency. Okay, let's talk a little bit about resiliency, because you've had what a lot of people would see as success pretty quickly in the Facebook community, growing your brand, doing what you're doing. You've had a lot of it, and pretty fast, Amos. Like, to go from where you were, I think you would agree with me that you're moving at a pretty good clip. 0 to 3,500 in 9 months or so of doing this, right? That's a really good clip. But that speed, your results coming to you, you earn those by results not coming to you. So, talk to us a little bit about some resiliency. And if you got any resiliency stories, that would be perfect because not everything comes as quick as you're talking about, right? Not everything comes at just, you don't always have idea, message, result, right? Like those that, like, yes, those are the three pieces you need. But when you're starting from scratch, you tend to screw up all sorts of those pieces along the way. So, and that's why you said have an audience now so that you can screw up and figure it out as you grow your audience rather than think that it's just going to be perfect before the audience shows up, right? So walk us through what it was like to be playing, elementary school business, then high school business, and now college business.
I pissed away a couple key opportunities because they say the average entrepreneur who's truly an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
starting companies, it takes them like, it's like 8 or 9 or 10. And I'm
Yeah.
probably on my 10th. I pissed away some golden opportunities because I didn't have the maturity. We had a tech company that we raised $2.4 million for, and I made some. And others made their mistakes too, but I shit the bed so bad, Michael. I was blowing money on stuff I never should have been blowing money on clothes. I kid you not, spending corporate money on clothes because I didn't feel good enough about myself as a person, and so I was padding my insecurities with
You were faking
exteriors.
it to try and make it.
I was. So yeah, if there's success that I'm having now, it's an overnight 25-year success
Yeah.
because I've I I've suffered with I knew in high school I didn't want to go to college. I knew I wouldn't. I didn't want to do what they told me. I didn't want to do what my dad told me. I was like, no, I'm going to be successful one day. Just wait. I didn't realize it would take to my late 40s for something to really click. I thought I would have been successful in my 20s and then my 30s. I can't believe it took this long for something to finally hit. Now it makes sense now because I had to learn all these lessons and
Mm.
I was too arrogant. I was too insecure, and that stuff that shit has to fall off a person. So maybe some people they learn it quicker than I did. Amazing, God bless them. But it took me all these years, Michael, to learn this. I'm almost 48 now, and I feel like I've really only stepping into who I'm called to be. I'm at the beginnings of that. So it was 25 years of painful startups and failures, and it was hard.
That's important though, buddy. Like, it's critical that we realize that none of the stuff is a straight path. And I know that we hear that over and over again, but you know, we were walking this pathway. We're walking this route. It's like people want to get to the top of the mountain, but as the great Simon Sinek once put it in an interview that I saw of him, he said, "But we forget there's a mountain." Right? Like we want to be at the top. We see people who've got to the top, and we're at the bottom or we're part way up. And what we forget is that there's still a mountain to climb. And that journey is not a straight up and down path. It has lots of dips and valleys in it. And it doesn't mean you have to. I used to have this thing where I felt like I needed to suffer in order to achieve something great. It was, and this might sound ridiculous to some people, but here I am, middle class, growing up in Abbotsford, same as you, right? What high school did you go to?
I went to Abbey and MEI. Started at
Okay,
MEI and finished Abbey.
gotcha. All right, well, I won't hold it against you. I was a Mowat grad. Yeah. Um, so, but the fact is, here I am, middle class white guy in North America, growing up in Abbotsford, suburbia. Like, I don't have any problems. Like, I didn't have any challenges. Like my parents treated me pretty well. Like everything went. Like I just didn't have some big huge axe to grind. And what I realized was that just meant that I had to choose the mountain that I was going to climb. Right? I wasn't handed one by geographic fate or whatever. I wasn't handed some big huge challenge to go through. I had to go find the challenges to become the best version of me. I had to seek out the mountains to climb. And the journey is never straightforward. It's not an up and down path. It's not that way. The great Alan Rickman, I don't know if you remember, but he was the villain in the first Die Hard, right? Oh man, love that guy. Anyway, he was the villain, and then his career tanked, right? And then we didn't see him again until Harry Potter. Basically, Harry Potter put him back on the map, right? So he had this. He thought he'd made it. He thought, oh my gosh, big, huge Hollywood movie. I'm playing the villain versus Bruce Willis. Like, you can't get much bigger than that. And then he was buying the suit before he deserved it, whatever it was, right? And his career went down a huge shithole, and he had to figure out all sorts of stuff about himself and everything else. It was not a straight path, not a straight path at all. And so I love that you've had this journey, right? And that you've had to keep bouncing back. If you want it bad enough, you got to keep bouncing back, right?
Yeah, that's probably the whole resilience piece. That's I learned that as a kid. I didn't know I was learning it as a kid, but I fell in love with basketball when I was young and also singing. And so, from the time I was, I don't know, 15 years old, 16 years old onward, I was doing both hardcore every day. I was singing an hour and a half every day. I have since for 32 years, and I was into sports. Um, I didn't know that I was developing the resiliency that I would need as an entrepreneur back then. I thought I would have been an overnight success in my 20s in business, but those skill sets worked what I was learning in singing and in diet and performance in sports as a teen. Those would then later serve me. And I only realized that in my 40s that those had set me up to become not a quitter because I certainly was tempted to quit over and over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that leads me to this next question. So, because you were an artist and everything else. So, I have to ask you, buddy, take us back to this moment right here. What is this? Look what I found of Mr. Amos Bracewell. Look at this. Look at this beautiful man here. Look at that. So there he is, and he's about to belt it out. Love it. Love it. Here we go. Holy night, all is calm. Oh my god, it's so good. So okay, so I was doing my research and I came across all this music stuff. I'm like, oh man, I've got to go down this road with Amos. So, because you, as you said, right, you wanted to be a singer and a music artist. So tell me, what was this part all about? You've got 111 subscribers on this channel, Amos. By the way, congratulations, well done. So,
Something I've been plugging away at for years. Yeah, I did a bunch of music videos. I think that one was a little one I shot at my buddy's house. But yeah, I did some real music videos about 6 years ago.
yeah,
Just after my mom passed, I spent a year focusing on music overtly, publicly, and did a little tour, did some stuff. Even though I'd been doing it for years and years, it was my first time kind of coming out publicly.
okay,
Uh, Before that video you played, and then I
yeah,
just did that a few years ago, and I'm going to be doing more of it. But this last few years has been more focused on business. But yeah, no, I love singing. I
there we
really
go.
love singing. Yeah, it's a hoot, man.
There we go. Yeah, we've got "If I'd Only Loved You," right? In the bleak midwinter. Yep, there's some good ones here. There's some good ones. So, what uh, what do you think being a music artist then? What do you think that's given you for your entrepreneurial career? Because a lot of people have this previous stuff, right? And they were doing something else, but they have an idea. They want to turn it into a reality. They want to become an entrepreneur and carve this business into the world. But they feel like they don't have these skills. They don't have the right things. And in some cases, there are skills they don't have. You and I would agree that the things like, you got to learn how to market better. You got to learn how to do these things. But what is it about your past that you've helped bring you forward? Because a lot of people have stuff, They're just not recognizing it. So help them recognize it here as to what they could be bringing to the table.
Well, that's their journey for them. But I can just tell people that once I started stepping into, like that breadcrumb trail that I believe will lead you home, it's unique for each person. And my life didn't start making more sense until this year because the last 4 years, not just the different startups and this and that for 20 years, a lot of mistakes and learning lessons, but even the last 4 years, 5 years ago, I didn't have very many jobs in my life. I was usually self employed. And I left my last job going, Kate, I'm just going to start. I wanted to start an online business my whole life. I'm finally going to go for it. Almost 5 years ago, I made this decision. That brought me from learning about funnels to email marketing to learning how to run ads on Facebook to taking courses on YouTube ads to writing books, creating courses, to learning videography. And the reality is that I didn't know that it was setting me up to for a future that would all be needed in my tool belt because now I'm working with coaches, and so I know all their pain points because I even started an e-commerce product a couple years ago, and so I've accrued all these things that only after the fact, Michael. Now I go, oh, that's why I had to go there. That's why I had to fall down there. That's why that relationship had to end. That's why I had to lose that money, is because it set me up. No, so if if anything I've learned in my story, it's like don't judge the movie before the final scene because
Mhm.
you don't know the plot twist that's coming. And all those mistakes, whatever, and then those heartbreaks, they're gonna be called upon. They're going to be called upon and drawn out of you to rise up in the final, potentially when you're 70, when you're 60, when you're 80,
Sure.
in the final curtain moments. I think that's and isn't that what makes the painful moments beautiful, is that there's redemption in them. For me, I've
Yeah.
experienced there's redemption in the losses. It's not a big pile of shit. It's like, yeah, it's a big pile of shit, but there's actually gold in there.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. It's very true, man. I think it is. Here's the thing. It's the cost of achievement, right? The stubbing our toes, the banging our shins, the the singing on YouTube and me bringing it to the forefront, the failed e-commerce, like they're the cost. That's the investment that we must make to achieve, right? That's the price we pay to become the version of ourselves that we want to be, and I absolutely love it, buddy. So I'm very proud of you. It's awesome to have a fellow Abbotsfordian. What do we call ourselves? Abbotsfordian.
Abbotsfordian or Abbotsfordite? Which one do you want to call
Abbotsfordite.
it?
Oh, I go for the Ian at the back. Abbotsfordian. Yep. Achieving some awesome stuff. That's great. So my final two questions for you, buddy. 1 year from today, it is November the 11th, 2024. Where is Empower Network TV? What's it doing? How far has it got? Paint us a picture.
Yeah, uh, people ask me this. And I don't know how to answer it because I'm more of a live in the moment kind of guy. So I'm just thankful that it's not just me anymore, Michael. There's a bunch of leaders that came and keep coming into Empower Network TV that are looking for the place that they've been looking for a decade or 5 decades. So I'm just thrilled that I know more and more people, amazing people are coming in, people that are they're done living in obscurity. They've done their time in the trenches and they're ready to plug and play with a community that's going to celebrate them. So a year from now, I don't know, there'll be a million more of us. For right now, there's 3,500, and with everything we're launching in the next year, it's a bright future. So for me, it's always been about the people, the connections. I've good or bad, not never been motivated by money, but I've been motivated by possibilities, by connection, by amplification, by reach, and by creating opportunities where I could be a positive catalyst in people's lives. I spent a little bit of time being a shit disturber, but now I'm using my skill sets to create meaningful experiences for others so that they can go and amplify the tonalities that they want to hear more of on the planet.
Love it. Love it. Perfect, buddy. Excellent. And then, pardon me. Final little thoughts here. Anything you want to leave off of before I ask my final question?
No, man. If people are want to check us out, Empower Network TV on Facebook, and
There it is, right there.
if you're looking to, we got free event, we got free stuff, paid stuff. The free stuff is you can come on in, you get interviewed, you can come on in and get on our first date networking events on the and get some mic stage audience so that you can get known. A lot of people have already done business just by coming into the community and being on the free thing. Some people have done a lot of business. And then on the paid side, that's more for people that are like, you know what, I'm tired of having to market myself. I'd rather someone else just market me for me. And we like doing that. So we like helping solve that marketing piece for people so they could just, you ever tried to put a hat on that doesn't fit? It's too tight or too big. It just doesn't work. And a lot of people that don't like marketing, that's what it's like for them. It's like they're trying to put a hat on that doesn't fit. So if they're interested in that, they can talk to us about that. But we'd love to see them in the community regardless, because if they vibe with the tribe, I always say there's a seat with their name on it if they want it.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it, my friend. And then my final question is, can we have you back on the show later on?
Yeah, of course, man. What do you want to talk about? You gonna ask me to hum a tune, or what do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Dance,
We'll get you to recreate the "Where Are You Now" music video from the
have you?
Amos
Have you? That's the one I wrote after my mom passed away.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. That's a hard one to sing. I've broken down and cried a few times on the stage singing that song because
Yeah.
the
Well,
first few years that was a very hard one to sing. Yeah.
fair enough, buddy. Fair enough. Well, Amos, it has been an absolute pleasure, buddy. I hope you had a ton of fun with me on the show today. And
I did.
audience, yeah, audience, give Amos a big, huge warm welcome here. This has been Amos Bracewell from Abbotsford, the creator of the Empower Network TV, or Power TV Network, I should say, and doing
No,
some
no, no.
awesome stuff.
Empower Network TV. Empower Network TV. You got it right. Your intuition's right.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. I was just going to sign off saying I've been Michael Bridgman. He has been Amos Bracewell. You have been awesome. And this has been another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.